Nobody wants to be defined by a single moment, but every now and then, a single moment refuses to disappear. A grainy clip, a shove into the stands, a punch that punctured a primetime game, and suddenly a whole season's narrative spins into a courtroom of public opinion. This matters because what happened at Ford Field wasn't just a player losing his cool. It forced the NFL to balance three competing needs at once: protect player safety, protect fans, and protect the integrity of the game. Those things usually sit in uneasy harmony. This night pulled them apart in plain sight. ESPN.com, Philip Rivers of a controversy aside, here are the basics everyone agrees on. During the second quarter, Pittsburgh Steelers wideout DK Metcalf approached a fan seated near the field. An exchange happened, and Metcalf was captured on multiple angles, appearing to swing at the man. The officials didn't see it live, so there was no in-game ejection, but the league opened a discipline process, suspended Metcalf 2 games, and denied his appeal. The suspension stands. Reuters. But if you watched the video and thought the whole story was obvious, you missed the part that matters most to the people in that stadium and everybody watching at home. We don't yet know what the fans said, and we don't yet know whether the fans' words would change how you feel about Metcalf walking into the crowd. Sources told reporters that Metcalf gave investigators information during his appeal hearing that prompted the NFL to keep looking into the fans' conduct. That ongoing review is the heart of this story because it means the league is treating this as more than a player discipline matter. It's also a potential fan code violation. Yahoo Tethao. The simplest version is unsatisfying because humans are messy. One man's jab is another man's provocation. In the hours after the incident, social feeds filled with competing narratives. Some outlets relayed unnamed sources saying the fan used a racial slur and made derogatory comments about Metcalf's mother. Explosive allegations that, if true, explain a lot about why Metcalf reacted. But those claims are not proven on camera, and the fan involved, identified as Ryan Kennedy, has publicly denied ever using racist or hate-based language. He held a press conference and said he did not use the N-word or any misogynistic slur. His attorneys are considering legal options for the fallout he's endured. The contradiction between anonymous source reporting and the fans' direct denial is the engine that keeps this story spinning. X, formerly Twitter. Meanwhile, the financial and career stakes for Metcalf are concrete and immediate. Losing 2 games means losing salary. Reports peg the lost pay at roughly $555,556, and the punishment has ripple effects in his contract guarantees, with media outlets reporting that future guarantees, a figure in the neighborhood of $45 million, could be voided depending on contract language and league enforcement. That's not abstract, that's money, and it changes how every party approaches settlement, appeal, and public statements. ESPN.com. What makes all of this feel so modern and so volatile is how quickly the court of public opinion forms on social platforms. Clips circulate with no audio, commentators rush to moral judgments, and people pick teams based on what their feeds serve them first. That dynamic pressures the NFL. Act too fast and you risk a legal mess. Act too slow and you risk appearing indifferent to player safety or racial abuse. The league's choice to uphold the suspension but continue investigating the fan shows how thin their line is right now. Punishment for the visible act, investigation for the unverified provocation. NFL.com looked closer at the human players in this mess. Mike Tomlin didn't hide. He stepped up and said something that tried to hold 2 contradictory truths at once. He doesn't condone Metcalf's actions, but he supports his player. That's not spin. It's a coach trying to protect a locker room and a broader organizational narrative, the kind of balancing act NFL coaches are forced into when the league's image and a player's livelihood collide. NBC Sports inks Blodge. And then there's Ryan Kennedy, who went from a face in the crowd to the center of a national controversy. He says he used Metcalf's full legal name, a provocation in Metcalf's view, and denies anything racially or sexually demeaning was said. He says he's received threats and has suffered reputational damage. It's easy to forget that amid viral outrage, an ordinary fan is now enmeshed in legal review and public vilification. The way this is resolved, if it ever is publicly resolved, will matter for how stadium behavior is policed and what protections fans have when accusations fly online without context. The Sun. There's a structural point here that should worry fans and franchises alike. The NFL's disciplinary system is set up to punish players quickly when their actions are clear on video and harmful to the game. But the same system isn't equally equipped to investigate fans in real time, which creates asymmetry. Players are under constant surveillance and strict liability. Fans are often anonymous, and their statements are rarely captured at broadcast quality. That asymmetry produces uneven justice, and in high-profile cases, the league will be judged on how fairly it treats everyone involved. NFL.com. We also need to talk about precedent. The NFL has punished players for on-field breaches and ejected fans for egregious behavior before, but the combination of alleged slur, viral video, and contract consequences makes this different. If the league finds the fan violated the guest code of conduct, it could ban him from games. But proving a slur occurred without reliable audio or multiple eyewitnesses is a heavy lift. That's why the investigation matters more than the punishment right now. It's where evidence gets tested and narratives either harden or dissolve. Yahoo Total. Finally, the broader cultural question: how do we expect elite athletes to act when they perceive a personal attack on their identity? And how do we expect fans to behave when they're part of a participatory, systematic, performative crowd environment? There's no simple rule that covers every case, but there is a clear responsibility on the league to create safe, enforceable standards for both players and fans, and responsibility on the public to pause before condemning people based on incomplete footage and anonymous sources. So what happens next? The NFL will complete its review of the fans' conduct. The team and the league will decide whether to pursue a ban, additional fines, or legal action. Metcalf's appeal has already been denied. The suspension stands, but the reputational and contractual fallout could continue. The fan, represented by attorneys, will press his denials and potentially seek redress for threats he says he's received. And the Steelers and Lions will have to navigate a locker room and fan base that have both been rattled. Reuters' last line here is not a neat resolution, because there isn't one yet. This episode forced 3 hard truths into the open. Players are held to a high standard in a world of cameras. Fans can become lightning rods when crowd behavior crosses a line. And institutions, from teams to the league, must reconcile safety, fairness, and optics in real time. The only certainty is uncertainty. We don't yet know what was said. We don't yet know what the league will conclude about the fan press, and we don't yet know how Metcalf's career will be shaped by the contract consequences now unfolding. So the question that carries forward is simple and terrible. In an age of viral video and quick judgments, can we build a system that protects everyone involved, fans, players, and the integrity of the game, without leaning unfairly on the first piece of footage that goes around the world?